high schools in Delta for many years and is one of the most popular high school sports. Today, we will be asking some of the high school coaches in Delta about the state of basketball in our area. Also, we'll talk to the coaches for Simon Fraser University men's and women's team about how they recruit their students each year.
What we're going to do is, for tomorrow's game, we're going to learn our 3-2. Okay, so our 3-2 zone is very similar to our 2-3 zone, except what happens is we have one person at the top, okay, and that problem is probably going to be Heather Gamlin or Liz. Okay, and all they have to remember, this is key for you guys to remember, is that you have to be at the level of the ball. Okay, so if the ball's on the wing at the high post, then you got to be at the high post. If the ball goes down to the bottom post, then that's...
Fiona Moss is the head of the athletics department at Seaquam Senior Secondary, and she explains her school's program.
Well, we start out with, up to 60 kids in grade 8, and moves down each year. We lose a few kids, and I think I had to cut about 3 this year from the senior team, and that's kind of normal, 2 or 3. So only about 15 try out for the senior team.
Big decision to make when you've got to cut a student?
Well, it's always a tough decision because it's a life decision for them. Sometimes it's the last time that they'll play basketball, organized basketball, so it's a tough thing to do.
Students that come out and play basketball here at Seaquam, they come up play basketball from Cougar Canyon, or where do they come?
Yeah, they come from all over our elementary schools, so Cougar Canyon, Pine Tree, Sunshine Hills, Heath.
Yeah, let's start with the basics first off, and we'll ask a real simple question so that I can get a good answer. Do you have a feeder system for the school here?
We don't really have a feeder. Our feeder system is our elementary schools. We start out with our students in grade 8, and unlike some of the other schools in our area, like North Delta, we don't have any junior highs that feed us, so we feed ourselves. So what we start out with in grade 8, if we cut a kid in grade 8, chances are they're not going to return to play the next year or the next year. So what we start with in grade 8 is what we end up with in grade 12. So it makes the decision making a lot tougher. Well, at the senior level, it's a pretty committed kind of program. We practice or play every day. We have 6 tournaments this year, so that's Friday, Saturdays, all day for 6 weekends. We lift weights, we do morning shoot-arounds, so they spend a lot of time in the gym, and they work really hard. So I guess the biggest thing is commitment and effort from them.
Hey, commitment, you talk about travel, your schedule, how far do you travel?
Oh, last year we went down, or 2 years ago, sorry, we went down to San Diego for an extended trip, but we try to do that every couple of years. But most of the time we stay in the local area, maybe over to the island or up into the interior.
What's the competitive style of ball versus when you play against other schools in the area?
Well, actually, high school girls basketball has really, really improved, and it's got to a really intense level right now, and it's very competitive. We're kind of in the middle of the road. We're definitely not right in the elite system right now, but we're not at the bottom either, so we kind of are a 50-50 kind of club right now.
You've been involved in the program for a few years now, and you had a young lady playing for you in your first year here. Tell us a bit about her.
I had the pleasure of coaching Lori Orstad in my first year, and actually I'm not sure that I did a lot of coaching. She did a lot of playing for me. She was a great experience to have a kid like that. She worked really hard and showed me what it takes to play at the next level, and Alison McNeil also was fabulous with her and with me, and showing me what I needed to do and help Lori and how to get her involved in the next level. So
of course, both of them went on to play at Simon Fraser. Alison now coaching.
Yeah, well, Alison actually used to coach here a couple of years before I got here, and I guess it was '87, so she was here probably in '85. And unfortunately, the school made a bad decision and let her go, but she ended up at SFU, and she's, in my opinion, probably the best coach, male or female, around right now. Here, she goes here, goes up to Shirley, she comes out here, she goes over there, goes over here.
Fiona likes what she sees from her girls when it comes to keeping up their marks.
Well, we don't really have any kind of set program like this, but it's pretty tough to survive in this school because it's a highly academic school if your academics aren't kept up. Sports is one thing that keeps kids pretty motivated and keeps them on task, and it's a tool that we can use to help keep kids interested and know that, if they want to take the next level and play at a college or play at university, they have to have the marks to do that. So we can kind of keep an eye on them that way.
What's the toughest thing that you have as a coach to teach the young ladies when they're learning basketball?
Well, I guess the biggest thing is skills. Skills, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of work, and it's something that they have to kind of dedicate themselves to. And And I guess there's never one way to teach a skill, and it's just a learning experience. You know, I've been at this for 10 years now, and by no way do I figure that I've got it down packed. So teaching skills is really, really tough.
When the ball comes in, we are getting trapped. Before the trap comes on, you get rid of the ball. You see when your man is releasing you to go trap, come to the ball and help. Look up the floor. You're 2 on 3 and you're turning the ball over. Getting the ball down to the 3-point line. Okay, we're turning the ball over. Kick the ball out, bring it up.
Bernie Love is the community coach for the senior boys basketball team at Seaquam Senior Secondary, and he explains just what a community coach is.
I work out in the community, and I was, I guess there was no staff available or interested in coaching the team this year, and I was brought on board. And I've been doing that the last couple of years.
You got a pretty good program, grade 11 and 12 students?
Yeah, I've only got 3 12s, and actually the kids are playing quite well this year. I think, you know, I set very high expectations and goals, and I demand a lot out of them. But the kids really stepped up this year, and, you know, I think, you know, we're surprising teams. I think teams are finding us a lot tougher than what they figured we were going to be.
As a coach, what do you expect from a player?
Well, I expect him to give me everything he's got. You know, I demand a lot, and I ask him to work hard, give me 100% all the time. And, you know, if he'll do that for you, you can't ask much more out of him.
You know, the students come to school, they go through their whole scholastic day. They get practices every day after school?
Yeah, we're going 6 days a week. We have Sundays off, and right now we're very heavy games right now. We've got 17 games for the month of January. So basically, when we don't have a game during the week, we have a practice. So it's you know, it's pretty tough on them, but the guys have been really good.
And what about travel schedule? How far do you travel?
We're basically all local this year. Like I say, I took over. I got the job basically about the middle of September, 3rd of September, and I was basically handed a blank piece of paper that said, you know, these are your league games, and this is our tournament, and go at her. I think basically the farthest we travel this year is, well, we go out to Sardis is our last one out in the Chilliwack, but other than that, we're basically in the local area.
Bernie finds that there is a big difference between the basketball in the interior high schools versus the lower mainland high schools.
Okay? When you see the trap coming,
It really is, honestly, there's a big difference. Like the ball level down here, the intensity is very high, and these kids down here, it's a year-round type of thing. And it seems down here, kids sort of more specify themselves to one sport or another. And up there, you know, the kids, they start the year off, you know, they play volleyball, they play basketball. When that's done, they've got their soccer, and it's more, I know it's more defined down here. I say it's almost fanatical down in this area. Dedication of the kids, it really is. Like I say, you come down here, and I'll show up at the school, and you know, the kids will really ask you, you know, if they can get in the gym and shoot around, if you open up, get a ball out for them here and there. Up there, it's a lot different. They don't take their ball as serious up there, and it's just the dedication of the kids down here is really night and day.
We were talking earlier on, you've basically got grade 11 and 12 students. You said that if you had the luxury, you might want to steal a couple of the younger players.
Yeah, my junior program here is very strong. Doug McKenzie is my junior coach. He's been with the same group of kids now for the last 3 years, and they're currently ranked 4th in the province. And I myself, I've got 3 12s and my rest are 11s, but I would, you know, I know old Dougie'd never let me at him, but I'd definitely love to bring 2 or 3 of them up there. They're a great bunch of kids, and they're very, very talented.
You guys out in press break. Okay, let's get white team out in 2-2-1. Okay, let's go. Hey, white team's in
Grant Friend is the rookie head coach for North Delta girls senior basketball team at North Delta Senior Secondary. Grant, rookie coach at North Delta this year, big undertaking for you.
Yeah, but I enjoy the challenge. I was an assistant coach here from 1992, basically right till last year. I took 1 year off where I went and worked with the Packers in Richmond as an assistant coach with the senior boys team there. But I came back last year, and I was a co-coach of the JV team, the boys team here that we tried out last year, and I also helped out a bit with the girls. And then this year, it's my initial year as head coach, so I guess I'm a rook.
Oh, never mind yourself. You've got some rookie young ladies in the team.
Yes, I've got 8 rookies this year. Okay, they're actually a really great, okay, it's a great group of kids. They work really hard, and they're all really nice. They're a little bit passive sometimes, which is how their personalities are off the court, but when they play, not like their normal personalities, when they're out there, they're getting rough and aggressive. They're pretty good players, so.
Now, you got grade 11 and 12s. A lot of them come on. Did they play minor ball when they were playing grade 8 and 9?
Okay, well, most of them played junior ball, okay, at the 3 junior highs around the area. We have one player who played up here in grade 10, who is Jessica Kanakis. And yeah, other than that, they've all played in our junior system. So.
Okay, then what? And then I kind of.
Yeah, on the reversal, right? Right? Okay, ball's in. Let's go.
The only way to get young girls involved in basketball is to go to the junior high schools.
Okay, well this year, actually I guess last April, we began with a really active approach with the grade 8s, 9s, and 10s. We ran a spring league with the 8s, 9s, and 10s. Once I knew that I'd be head coaching, I got really involved with that. Or not just me, but the other coaches as well. And we really try and attack it as a whole program now because of the population that we have here. If we attack it and we get really involved with the younger kids, we should be able to have a top 10 team every year, and that's our real aim.
Are the junior schools, are they pretty receptive to the program?
Yeah, I mean, they love the help, and I love being down there. I mean, they have some really neat kids down there in grade 8s, 9, and 10 right now. I mean, they got some real athletes and some people that are going to be real players.
You know, let's talk about the program for the young ladies here at North Delta. They're called the Huskies as well.
Yes, we are indeed the Huskies, not the Lady Huskies or anything like that. It's just the Huskies. Yeah, it's been an interesting year. We began pretty slowly in terms of, I mean, it's a real big adjustment between, it's a real big adjustment with the changing coaching. Okay, I ask a lot out of them, and I think that was hard on them at the beginning, but they're playing real well right now, and they know what things are like. And
what's the biggest thing you ask for them?
Probably that they are intense and work at 100% every practice, and not just for an hour of the 2-hour practice, but the whole practice. And that's been the biggest change with most of them. I have noticed that we now work hard almost the whole practice. Once we get down to the point where we're working hard for 2 hours in a row, we'll be okay. But that's been the biggest change, is that these people are now working really, really hard. And with how we played the past week and a half, it's evident that they're starting to play much better. So,
is it important for them to keep their marks up?
Yeah. That's one of the big points. I do attendance checks, and if they miss classes or whatever, then they miss games. Okay, breathe on your shots. There you go, breathe.
Having the Vancouver Grizzlies in town has an impact on these young girls.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not as evident at this level, but with the younger ones, with the 8s, 9s, and 10s, it's really evident that, I mean, we got lots of kids now who play all the time, and they play a lot, and they're real athletes, and they love the game.
Any of them have aspirations going on, possibly whether it's UBC or Simon Fraser to play ball?
Okay, on our team or?
On your team.
Yeah, I look at Jessica, okay, as one player that could play the university level. It's just going to be a matter of us recording some games of hers and mailing them off out of universities. Nicole Brewer, I think, is a player that can play at the college level. And then maybe Jen Johnson as well. And then, I mean, once they play 1 or 2 years at that level, then maybe university is something that they can look at. So.
What we're looking for now, Kevin, is as I dribble it over here, I'm going to take your spot. You're going to curl in behind where Jeremy is, and you're going to come back up and take my spot at the top. I'm going to look for Jeremy as you're clearing up. If Jeremy's not there, I'm going to pass it out to you, and we've just exchanged spots. It's called a dribble entry, often known as a shallow cut. Okay, so let's look to do that this time.
Bill Edwards is an icon in the Delta area when it comes to high school basketball.
Maybe here somewhere ahead of him.
Bill, seasoned veteran, you've been around the ball game here for a long time.
Yes, it's been a long time, and just looking back on it the other day and realizing that it's not much longer left here as a teacher, let alone as a coach. So I guess you can say I'm on a downswing in terms of my tenure here.
You obviously love the sport.
Yeah, I really enjoy coaching. I like getting out and trying to accomplish things with the kids, and I like the dedication you get from kids. You don't get the same kind of thing in a classroom. So I don't think I could really be as happy doing my job if I wasn't also coaching.
There is a bit of a difference between university basketball versus high school basketball.
Well, I guess the biggest difference at the university level is the intensity, and we try and get that across to the players at this level, but they really don't understand how hard and how intense and how how much focus they have to have in order to play the game at the next level. And I really didn't realize it myself until I went up there and worked as a coach, and it's quite a big step.
A lot of the youngsters that come out and they play basketball in the Lower Mainland in general, they have aspirations of going on. I know a lot of them go to the Grizzly games.
Oh, yeah, the Grizzlies have been a big boon in the last couple of years in terms of kids and their interest in basketball. The unfortunate thing is that, like anything, there's always some negatives that go with the positives, and I think a lot of the kids watch and see the NBA game, and a lot of it is an individual game, as you well know, and I think we've seen the effect of that in terms of I don't think the teams in the last couple of years have been as good teams as we've had in the past. Kids have more of a tendency to think that they have to take the ball and shoot and take the ball and beat a couple of guys and go to the hoop. And it takes a while to teach them that not everybody's a Michael Jordan. So it's been both positive and negative, but certainly the interest is there.
You know, let's talk first all about the dedication for the young men that come out and play for your team.
Well, you know, it's a big commitment. We do something almost every day. We've tried to cut back in the last couple of years in terms of the number of games we scheduled because being a semester school, we found that it's really hard to get enough practice time and still play the number of games we were playing. So we play about 25, 26 games, and we practice every day of the week if we're not playing. If we're not playing on Saturday or Sunday, we give them that Saturday or Sunday off. But basically, it's a 5 or 6 day commitment a week, and we start seriously about the 1st of November, but we have optional practices and things prior to that too. And then there's a spring program that we run for them. So it's a big commitment.
Big travel schedule for the boys?
Well, we try and give them a trip every year. We just got back from San Diego a couple of weeks ago, and we spent a week down there over Christmas and in a tournament. And we did all right. We had our moments. The competition down there, again, is a notch above. And we won one of our games, and we competed in the other one. We played an inter-city school from San Diego, and we should not have been playing them. But the kids went out and worked hard and did the best they could. So it was a good experience, and the kids, again, saw how to play at a higher level. So hopefully it was worthwhile.
Well, the Huskies have a good program. I know a few years back when they played in the final championship game and we got beaten in the overtime. Boy, what a game.
Yeah, that was quite an exciting game. Unfortunately, it went to the overtime. Foul shot away from winning the tournament that year. And Tyler Kushner, who's my co-head coach this year, was coaching the team at that time. And that's a tough loss to take. And, you know, we won the tournament in 90, so we've had success, and somebody's got to lose. So, you know, it was unfortunate for Tyler that year that we just didn't make that one key foul shot. Now, when are you allowed to dribble? When the guy is right on you and you need to open up a passing lane or to take it to the hoop. If that guy's right on you, Reynolds, and you can take a drive and beat him, you've only got 2 dribbles max to get to the hoop here. That's a good basket, okay? Don't let him do that to you. Here we go.
There seems to be a bit of a problem when it comes to some of the schools that recruit from other schools. Bill explains.
Over the last few years, it's really gotten carried away. I know that situations, I know of a school that the coach is, it's a private school. The coach has said to me on more than one occasion, his main job is to recruit. And if he doesn't recruit, he's not going to be able to compete at the level of the bigger schools. And so the private schools that are good are all out recruiting. And there's a few of the public schools, whether they do it themselves or they do it through friends and colleagues, they are out recruiting as well, and whether they do it intentionally or unintentionally. I know that when I started back here about 10 years ago, Bill Stebbings was coaching over at Seaquam, and I went to Bill and I said, look, we have kids at both of these schools. I don't want any of your kids, and I know you don't want any of ours. We've never had a kid from Seaquam come over here, and we've never had a kid from North Delta go to Seaquam. And there's been pretty strong programs over the years. Seaquam's coming back in line again now. But they're kids, and if they're going to work hard and develop a program, then they should have those kids. One of those kids last year at Seaquam, I saw him start at the beginning of grade 9, and he was one of the worst kids I'd ever seen. By the end of grade 9, he was a very, very good player. He's now at Vancouver College, and there's no question why he's at Vancouver College is because somebody went and recruited him. And, you know, people say, well, where's the proof and so on? The proof is there. We saw it happen. My wife sponsored the team. She saw it happen. And so, you know, it's not fair when a guy like Doug McKenzie, who's coaching there now with the junior program, spent a whole year developing this kid, and then somebody else comes in and says, well, come on over to our school. We'll do this and we'll do that for you. It's really not fair, and something has to be done. I think we as coaches and as an association, we have to sit down and decide that we're going to do something about it, or if we're not going to do something about it, then we might as well just open it up and say, we'll have club basketball, so go and recruit.
Get other people open. That's as good as an assist, right? And lots of times it can be a perimeter play, like Hobie, you start in, Nikki starts out, Joby, you start out, Joby, you start out. We can start this way and start by bringing Joby back in, or start by bringing Nikki back in. Hey, or Hobie can start high.
Alison McNeil is in her 10th season as head coach for Simon Fraser University women's basketball, and she is much more than just a coach.
It's pretty complex. A lot of people think I just come to the gym for 2 hours and coach, but it involves all the scheduling of our games, fundraising, the recruiting of student athletes. I have to monitor all the kids' grades. The fundraising is certainly a big part of it, trying to raise scholarship money. And then I'm out in the community doing clinics and promoting both ourselves and Nike, who's our sponsor. It's just, there's so many things that you're involved in. All the correspondence, writing for, I write some articles for different basketball publications. And my summer camps take up a lot of time. So those who think that coaching is just a party can now know that it's a lot of hard work.
A lot of hard work. Yeah. Tell us about the basketball program at Simon Fraser.
Well, I'm very proud of the program. This is my 10th season, and I think we've won, I don't know our exact record, but we've won something like 250 games and lost 40-something. So we've done really well. And this year's team is very young. We have 7 freshmen, first-year players, but we're 17-4 and off to a really good start. We're ranked number 6 in the NAI. In my 10 years, I've had all my players graduate but one, and she's off traveling the world and will come back and graduate, or I'll kill her. And so it's, you know, they're here, they're not just here to play basketball. These young women are here to get an education and play basketball and do both.
Alison expects a lot from her students.
The expectations are very high, and kids, that's usually the biggest thing. The jump from high school to here, they're in a bit of shock. First thing that they're in shock about is the level of fitness that they come in. It's never what I think it should be, and so we train extremely hard. And they have to be in the weight room 3 times a week. They have to be in the gym 3 times a week. We practice 6 days a week for 2 hours, and then they have to keep their grades up. So the expectations are high, and expectation when you come to Simon Fraser women's basketball is that, you know, we're expected to win. The pressure is on to win, and to play your best, but to win. So.
Do you have any Delta kids on the team this year?
I don't have any this year, but I have had in the past. Sarah Hove played for me, and she played for the BC team. She was from North Delta Secondary School, and I had Lori Orstad, who was from Seaquam Secondary, and she played her 4 years for me, and both graduated with their degrees, and both were outstanding players, both for the BC team and for me. And they also both played softball, and which is huge in North Delta, I know.
Well, you've got a good background with the North Delta area, or Delta in general.
Yes, I have quite the connection because I taught 1 year at Seaquam and really enjoyed my year teaching there. And then my husband grew up in North Delta, and he and both his brothers went to North Delta. And my husband, Mike McNeil, was part of the, I believe it was 1972, he's going to get mad if I get it wrong, but BC High School Championships that Stan Stewartson coached. So I have quite a connection out there.
So red ball on top here, white's the guarding, ball's here, corner, post, another corner.
Scott, you've got a history of background of basketball. You coached in Malaspina before coming over to Simon Fraser. What does the head coaching job entail?
Well, basically the day-to-day in-season stuff is focusing on the players and on the team, and you know, really preparing your team in the early season to move towards the final goal of the playoffs and so forth. And then during the regular season, it's preparing from opponent to opponent. Largely in the off season, we're recruiting, trying to find the potential university athlete, and also in the summertime, a little bit of summer camps. That's probably a pretty basic year-round look at it. Oh, I think it's a big jump from high school to university. I think the biggest jump is that they don't know what the expectation level is. They don't know how hard they have to work day in and day out. And even the hardest working kids in high school are shocked when they first come to university. I think that that's the first thing. And then I think that, you know, a lot of the basics are the basics, but we're a little bit more complex in some of the things we have to do, so we end up teaching. And I think that the first year, the freshman year, largely is them getting comfortable to the intensity of play and them getting used to the schemes. And then the biggest jump you see in kids' development is between their freshman and sophomore year, their first and second year, because the next year they know what's expected. They know a little bit of the schemes that you're trying to do, and the adjustment isn't as great as that first year.
Now you've got one Delta boy playing for the team, a young man that's in his last year with the team right now. How has his skills developed over the years, and will he be missed?
Well, I think he'll be really missed. First off, he's 6'11", and height's something that's always hard to replace. And you know, Sean's been a great player for us. He's been great in terms of his leadership. He's been great in terms of his size, being able to block shots and change the action of the game. And his development's been great. As a freshman, he came in perhaps not as strong as he should be. He's increased his strength a lot, and you know, probably wasn't a great perimeter shooter, but he's worked tremendously hard on it. And over the 5 years here, he redshirted his freshman year, I think that he's made exceptional progress, and he'll be missed by me. I have a real soft spot in my heart for Sean.
Well, not to keep everybody guessing at home, we should tell everybody who he is.
Sean Ramjak Singh? Yeah, Sean Ramjak Singh from North Delta, played on the team that came second in the BC Championships way back, and that might have been 91 or 92.
That was an overtime game, too.
That's right, yeah, and Sean was a big factor in that game and with that team.
Okay, now you watch the young boys, the young men, as I look at them out there practicing. Do you lose any of them to colleges in the States when they're first going on? Because one of my frustrations is the fact that we lose a lot of students to the States because of the scholarships. They get offered a full-ride scholarship.
Well, with us, kids don't, if it comes down to a financial thing, we never lose student athletes because of financial packages. We put a real good financial package together for our student athletes. Some players get bent on Division I, and that's it. And you know, and I think that we can compete with those types of programs. We're starting to be able to compete with those teams, and for the kids that want to stay in Canada, get a good education, have their education paid for, and have a good experience, I think Simon Fraser offers that for them.
Thanks for joining me at Sports Wave at Simon Fraser University. If you would like more information on any of the basketball programs in your area, please contact your local high school. Well, that's it for this edition of Sports Wave. We hope you enjoyed the program. For Sports Wave, I'm Steve Erickson. Remember, if you don't play sport, at least be one. From the Sun